unique model of community-based ecotourism, where now more than 600 people are working in different ecotourism destinations of Odisha. Right now we are having 42 ecotourism properties in different landscapes of Odisha, like nearby rivers, in lakes, in lagoon, in hill stations, within forest areas, and those are also placed in different tribal pockets of Odisha. And all these 42 destinations are covering around 18 districts of our state. Most of the people working in these ecotourism destinations are women, and the uniqueness of Odisha's community model of ecotourism is that the forest dependent communities who are engaged here, they are the stakeholders of these destinations, and whatever revenue comes from ecotourism, 80% of it is retained by the community itself, and this 80% is used by them for their wages, which they divide among themselves, and rest is used for maintenance and management of the nature camps, and 10% of this money goes to their village for developmental activities in their villages, like construction of bathing ghat or road, or repairing of community temples, or any other thing which the villagers decide jointly to do. And in the last 4-5 years, 2-3 destinations, Simlipal and Satkosia, they have earned revenue more than 1 crore, and it is a privilege to share that Odisha is the only state in India which is actually having a true model of community-based ecotourism, where special care is taken that there is no crowd. Within the carrying capacity of the area, people come to these places, and there are many activities run by the villagers, like boating, birding, cycling, trekking, different hiking programs are there, and cultural programs are also conducted by the villagers. People who come, they also go to the nearby villages and interact with the villagers. They learn about the culture of different areas, the local art and craft also they are able to see. And in this way we are having more than 300 rooms in 42 different locations. Some of the best places are like Simlipal, Bhitarkanika, Satkosia, Devkigarh, Daringbadi, Chilka, and every place is unique. It is different from other locations. So we request all of you to come to Odisha and at least have a 20-21 day stay here. Thank you.
Imagine 19th century Mahanadi, a river that formed the lifeline of Odisha and the only passage to commute between Sambalpur and Cuttack, and further Puri for the darshan of Lord Jagannath. Mahanadi looks pristine. But at times could turn hostile for sailors. Thanks to its floor filled with large and small rocks that could cause accidents if you are not a skilled and vigilant captain. Flat-bottomed boats that float even today are well suited for Mahanadi navigation. The boatmen would carry racks and hose with which they would clear a narrow passage just sufficient to let their craft pass, where there were chances of rocks impeding navigation. The people living on the banks of Mahanadi subsisted by river trading. They would carry salt, spices, coconut, and brass utensils from Cuttack to Sambalpur in exchange of cotton, wheat, oil seeds, clarified butter, oil, molasses, iron, turmeric, and ikat cloths. Everything would go fine till they would reach the vicinity of Atmalik, where Mahanadi would become a gorge. Now flowing like a snake amidst densely forested hills of the Eastern Ghats in the south and Gorge in the north. The river here is also infested with gharials, the Indian counterpart of American alligators. To gain courage and for safe passage in the gorge, the boatman would seek the blessings of Ma Binkai and Ma Konkai, two sister goddesses whose abodes are separated by the river. Today, this may sound like a fairy tale. But when you are at Binkai, your soul is simply transported to yet another era of mysteries and courage of river people amidst the breathtaking collage of mountains and river. A fascinating aspect of human stories is its geographical adaptability. There are terrains of all kinds where we have ventured and evolved with cultures adorning the local landscape and climate. Amongst a range of geographical diversity, the adaptation of forest combined with river ecosystem makes human cultures even more fascinating. These kinds of biodiversity are often fragile, with challenges of population pressure, resource management, and wildlife safety. Satkosia Tiger Reserve, a large forested and mountainous tract on both sides of a gorge, formed by mighty Mahanadi for 21 kilometers at a stretch in central Odisha, is a fascinating land to witness the existence of two ways of human life: fishing and farming in deep jungle tracts. A cultural practice that has not much changed from the Neolithic time. It starts at Binkai and ends at Badmul. The reserve is very scenic and extremely photogenic. Satkosia got its name from Sat or 7 and Kos or 2 miles, which equals 14 miles or 21 kilometer gorge through which the river Mahanadi flows. The sanctuary is guarded by Gorojat hills of Chota Nagpur Plateau on the north and majestic hills of the Eastern Ghats on the south. Therefore, it is the meeting point of two geographical formations of India. The Tiger Reserve has an area of nearly 1,000 square kilometers, but tourists are permitted only across 270 square kilometers. The vegetation is a combination of dry, deciduous, and moist deciduous forests. Satkosia has a tremendous genetic and ecological importance, as it is the wet portion of the Deccan zone. Apart from a significant elephant population in deciduous forests, the gorge harbors a large population of crocodile and fish. The gorge serves as a major watershed for the entire region. Satkosia is, however, short of meadows, causing a major threat for harboring animal population. Most of the valleys are under human occupation, with subsistence farming and animal rearing as the main economic base. Life is not rosy inside the forest. The crops are raided by elephants and wild boars. People guard their small farms in the pre-harvesting and harvesting seasons by sleeping on machans, a temporary shed. Talking to villagers, you hear stories of intense human-animal conflicts in the reserve. Now, thanks to the effort of Forest Department of the Government of Odisha, ecotourism is becoming a new alternative source of livelihood. The government has created infrastructure at villages such as Baghamunda, deep inside of the permitted forest. And at Badmul, on the bank of the mighty river, which is managed by the local community members. Their dependency on critical and fragile forest resources has minimized. The Satkosia Sand Resort at Badmul has become a center of attraction for nature lovers, birders, photographers, and conservationists. One of the key highlights of Badmul is Odisha's first canopy walk. The 120-meter canopy walk on the banks of Mahanadi is filled with adventure. The nearby Mudaligadia village has been transformed into an eco-village. The village youth is an integral part of programs like Know Your Birds, Poacher Turned Protectors, and Walk in the Jungle. Boating in Satkosia Gorge, birding, trekking, sports, library, canopy walk, bathing cart in the river for tourists, and farm visits are currently being offered to tourists. The success of the ecotourism project at Badmul is just the beginning. We are confident that in due course of time, it will bring in new dimensions to the idea of sustainable tourism, wherein the locals are empowered to become financially independent. This will in turn lead to the minimization of human-animal conflicts and better management of the biodiversity and natural resources.